Hello and welcome to Veggie Patch Ideas. Today it is all about what we are sowing and growing in September. Now September we move on to all the winter hardy stuff, and it's a great time of year because our soil is still very warm. Plus, number one, we still have the light levels, which means we can get seedlings going and off to a great start. And there's so many more things you can put or start this time of year. So I'm going to do it kind of differently today. I'm not going to sow my way through the presentation. I'm just simply going to tell you what I've got planned, and we'll go from there. And I'll show you a bed that I've already done that's prepped for moving into the colder season, because once summer's gone, it's gone. Or like we had last year, we had a better September, October than August and July. So with that being said, the first thing we want to talk about is the pak choi, and believe it or not, now is a great time to start your pak choys, bok choys, or any Chinese cabbage. So what we've got here, we've got a Chinese cabbage, and this was sown last month. And what I like to do in stages, I put it in a tray just like this one, and I sow it thinly, and then I prick these out and put them into individual pots. So as you can see, this one is more than ready to be pricked out. And when it's in little pots like this, I let it grow on just a little bit, and when the leaves get to around 2.5 inches big, we actually harvest our Chinese cabbage at this sort of size. And I do a lot of them, and I'll pan around and I'll show you how many we've got. We've got an absolute ton, but we can't eat them all. So when they start getting to around this side, so the outer leaves will turn yellow, which is basically a sign, or fall off, it's basically a sign that the plant is running out of nutrition in the little pot, and it's time for it to go into the ground. So this one, along with a few others that we're not harvesting, I mean, we can get a good harvest off 2 or 3 of these leaves, but this one is now ready to go in the ground, and it should be in the ground at this point in the pot. The only thing I would say is protect it against any aphids this time of year. So net it well, fly beetle, whatever you've got, or sorry, flea beetle, or whatever tends to attack your plants. Get it in the ground and get a net on it, because it's still very susceptible to damage. So that's the first one. It's my pak choys, and this is a red stem. We are harvesting at this side, but if you want a bigger plant, if you want to go the whole hog, net it, plant it into the soil, and it will be that bigger plant. Doing volume, you get, and the reason we take the smaller leaves, they are just so much more juicy than the older leaves. However you do it, it's no right or wrong answer, but I prefer doing it in bulk and then harvesting young leaves. Right, so that is our Chinese leaves done and dusted. Another one that you could start if you haven't is chard. We've got most of this done now and in the ground, but depends on where you are in the UK or around the world, because this is a global channel. You want a fair amount of good light to get this started off. So if you haven't got the temperature and light, you can manipulate that with grow lights. So again, moving on. What I'm going to plan to do is a direct sowing of some long white radish, and this is a very quick crop. So if you want just something in the ground and to get it out of the ground before winter finally hits, then the long white radish is for you. And what we did last month, we did some curly kale, and they've all germinated absolutely brilliant. It's not the month to be sowing kales, but I gave it a go and they've all germinated, so might be worth sticking in some kale if you want to gamble. because all we need to do is get this to around 3 or 4 inches before the bad weather kicks in, and it will look after itself outdoors, as long as we net this one as well. The next thing that you should be sowing this month, and this is pretty much a must, is any lettuces. Do it now while we've got the light levels. Lettuces will absolutely germinate brilliantly at this temperature and these light levels, so get them in now and they'll see you through. The closer we get to November, December, nothing will germinate or grow unless we're sticking loads of grow lights on them. So do it now, and as the temperature lowers, the growth will really slow down, so they can be left in plugs for a lot longer. So get a head start and try and do it now. And I know we're all busy, and believe me, I'm really busy. Right, okay, next on spinach. Get it done this month, and I've got a few different ones for you. So we've got spinach Apollo F1. That's a really good doer. It's a smaller leaf though, so if you are suffering with a lot of rain or colder temperatures, you could be going for a spinach gigante. Now this is a really good goer if you get it right, and what it does, it has massive leaves, and these will just, it will help with the cold resistance. So if you're up there in Scotland, try the gigante spinach. So let's move these out of the way as we go. Pak choys we've done. Another thing you could be looking at, and you should be looking at again, is white Lisbon spring onion. This one is a great one to sow pretty much all year round, but the next 2 months on are pretty important, like we said, to get it going, get it established, because we don't want to be looking at the darker months. So your white Lisbon, do them in little cell trays, a little bit like this, and they'll grow into clumps very happy. Your white Lisbon is your one, and this is a staple for every month pretty much sowing. Fertilising these, a little bit of blood, fish and bone in there if needed, if your soil's poor. Apart from that, sow them and leave them, harvest them. Very, and these have really pretty much no pests that I've found, at least in my garden, so they're always a winner. What else do we have? We have spinach matador, so another spinach variety. Now this can be sown in the spring and autumn, and again it's a bigger leaf spinach, so winter tolerance, and that's what we're looking. Anything that says winter tolerant or winter hardy on the packet, that's what we want to be doing. Right, so Chinese cabbage is done. The red stem pak choi is done, and I've also got some, which I'll be doing later, is some pak choi white stem as well. Like I said, around here we're going to go pak choi crazy in the greenhouse. As you can see, 30 degrees today, so it's not ideal to be doing cool season crops in here, but I have moved them out onto the table. So right, your red leaf mix lettuce is an absolute must this time of year, so get them done. And if you haven't got the red lettuce and you do like a green lettuce, because not everyone likes red, you can try all year round, and this is a sort of a butterhead lettuce. It does form a ball, but this is a really nice lettuce if you can get your hands on it and germinate it properly. If you want something a bit tougher, so a bit that's going to deal with the very cold situations, then Winter Destiny is a good one as well, and that'll go through the hardest of winters. It's just slug prevention on these type of things. Now here we go, we've got a fun one for you. You'll be seeing the onion sets and garlic sets everywhere in the garden centres this time of year. You can put them in now, but if your ground gets waterlogged over winter, these can be gone or destroyed in a heartbeat. So what I'd like to do is a bit of an insurance policy, and I like to do onions from seed. Now it says September is not the best, it should have been August, but I think with the seasons we're having now, September, we can do our onions as well. And as long as it says overwintering onions, we're good to go. You could also do the overwintering broad bean varieties. So they're things I might have a go, but bear in mind, if you have any mice issues around where you are, broad beans, I would get them started as plugs and then put them in the ground. If you're going to direct sow these, just be careful. The little mice, they absolutely love broad beans. So if you're on an allotment, careful what you're doing if you have a mice issue. Now, anything else for this month, you could do turnips, Kobe Rabbi, and that's pretty much it. What I have done, and you'll like, if you can get your hands on a pack, go for the violas, and these are flowers, and just something to brighten those gloomy days. Now this was my tray of violas. It was sown last week and a few days. I have no germination yet, but this can take up to 2.5 weeks to germinate. So I'm crossing everything on this one. I have a few seeds left as a backup. I'm watering it, letting it dry, watering it, letting it dry. Not too much. It's always slightly damp, but it's not waterlogged. I'm just hoping I can get a good germination. The temperature is perfect. The light level's perfect. It's a brand new packet. I look at these every day and I'm looking for signs of life. Nothing yet, but I will keep you posted. So, if we nip outside and I'll show you the beds what I've got going now in full swing, and I hope you like these, and I'll show you what I'm doing for saving seeds and what we've got going over and what'll keep on going. So let's do that now. So first of all, here is a 1 meter by 1 meter bed, and this is the one we want to be going into winter. We've got our bright lights chard at the back. That will make a very big plant. It'll come up around 50-60 centimeters high. Our wild rocket in front. This is absolutely fabulous. We've got no pests whatsoever, and it's just growing on nice and strong at the minute. And in front of it, we've got our spinach, our 2 different varieties of our spinach. And at the minute, this seems to be going really well. Keep it well watered, keep an eye on it, and shade it if the temperatures get too hot. And then moving on to the second bed, again, some more spinach in the front. And our carrots are going on brilliantly, even though the soil is not the best. We've got kale at the back. This needs netting, and this is an example of me just being too busy, and things are happening. We've got aphid damage on here. I need to get onto this and really sort these out before it becomes a problem. In the front, we have our lettuces, our moon red lettuce coming up very, very nicely. And these, because they're so close to the kitchen, they are being harvested quite a lot. In the front, we've got our spring onions, and we just let these slowly grow on. Again, at the sides, more spring onions, because you can never have enough. And then moving on to the last bed, and basically this was the first bed we planted up. So we've got our courgettes. This is producing pretty well. It's not as well as the ones on the allotment, but it's a raised bed. It needs more water. It can dry out a hell of a lot faster. So with that being said, production is pretty much down, but we are harvesting. Our lettuces, some that go over, we pick the bottom ones off, replace the lettuce with new lettuces. Our beautiful cherry tomatoes, they just keep producing, and they've been producing all summer. So we leave that and we do absolutely nothing with this. I feed it very rarely, treat it mean, and it's giving us such a bounty. The mess at the back, you see, these are sugar snap peas, and I'm letting them stay on the vine to completely dry out. And what I want, when they are dry, take them off, and this is next year's seeds. So if you've got any beans on the pods you're not going to eat, leave them on, and then you've got the next year supply of seeds ready to go. And that's it. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you on the next one.